Alright, this will be IU from a Mystic's perspective, but it will contain information helpful to any other class. You shouldn't worry about mass resing at the start because the first boss purges. However, you can block the purge if you wait about 2 seconds after it spawns and then triple spark. Pretty easy to block. Every 30 seconds you want to be sure to drop your chi plant for your squad. The second boss spawns circles. Do not stand on the circles or you die. It reels you in, so position yourself correctly so that when you're reeled in, you're not reeled into a circle. It's okay to use immunes on the first 2 bosses, because you won't really need immunes until way later. This third boss, you need to gather when it says to gather, and then spread out when it says to spread out, or you'll die. The next boss is usually just nuked. It's like the water boss in FSJ. If you don't kill it fast enough, it will regen and heal itself. You could do the math, but it's too cumbersome, not really necessary. This next boss doesn't do anything special. Just kill it. This tree boss is like the twins and AEU. Both sides need to die at the same time. One only takes magic damage, one takes physical damage. To select them, you click on their health bars located on the screen. If you get sealed and you have a blue circle around you, you don't want to be standing next to your teammates, otherwise you seal all of them. So if you have it, run away. If you don't kill them at the same time, they respawn, and you just waste time. So be sure to coordinate and watch both health bars. They will occasionally switch, so one will become physical immune, the other will become magic immune if you take too long. After they die, just finish off the boss main trunk. This boss gives you a link. If you have a link, do not attack it, otherwise it heals. You can spark off the link. Try not to stand near each other because you get ice blocked and trap yourself and your teammates if you're near each other. This boss has a nice AoE dot damage thing. Just drop Gaia's Blessing. Keep your team alive. It also cuts the room in half with a laser. The laser does massive damage. It doesn't one-shot if you have enough HP. Like over 30. This next boss will randomly aggro people and chase that person. If it touches the person it's aggroing, it heals. It switches pretty constantly, like every 10 or 15 seconds. So be aware when it's about to switch and back off. Boss 10 purges. It spam purges. So wait until it's dead, and then you can rebuff. This is when you want to mass res after this thing dies. So tell your squad to gather up. You want to drop mass res, and then prepare for the next boss. You run to the outside edge and try to find a minion. This guy will give you a timer. It's a bomb. What it does is when you run up next to the boss, it clears the reflect buff it has. So this boss will deal massive damage back to you if you hit it while it has its reflect buff up. But once you purge it with that bomb, you can damage it without any worries. If you take too long, it will rebuff itself and get the reflect back, but it will warn you. It throws out 2 messages. The second message is when it rebuffs itself. This boss you want to pull as fast as you can. So the flower that spawns, you want to dig the flower. The flower will purge the immune buffs the boss has. The boss can't take any damage until you pull it into the trap. Once it's in, you just nuke it. If you take too long, it will get its buffs back, the trap will wear off, and you'll have to pull it to a new flower. Boss after this targets the person closest to it and gives stacks. If you get too many stacks, you die. So you either want to cycle whoever's closest to it, or you just have a barbed faith, stand underneath it. Boss after this curses players if your name gets called out and you get a circle around you. It means you need to be purified. You can triple spark it off. Ideally, your cleric should be on point. It should purify the person right away. If the person is not purified, it will kill everyone around. Your whole squad will wipe. It's really important that that gets purified. Even after the boss dies, person has the red circle, it will wipe the squad if it's not purified. This boss steals chi, and it heals whenever it kills someone in your team. So it's best to use up all your chi at the start. The cleric could even BB, that'd be tactical if you have squishies in your squad. Every so often it transfers debuffs back to you. So if you have a low damage squad, this boss is pretty hard to kill. If you are glyphed, if you have your Nature's Vengeance glyphed, for chi you can get enough. You can get a spark before it steals all your chi, which means you can drop a chi plant or drop Gaia's Blessing. Takes about 3 hits before you get a spark. If you do have squishies, it's best to tell them not to res if they die here, or to go to town and buff up and chi up there. Because if they're spam dying, all they're going to be doing is healing the boss. This next boss has a frontal AoE that kills all non-barbs. What you want to do is leave the barb and 1 DD on the boss, and then take the rest of your squad and kill the minion that's up as fast as you can. The minion calls out a name and targets that person. That person needs to immune, otherwise they get one-shot. If the minion dies before they're able to one-shot the person, you don't need to immune. It doesn't last after it dies. Then after the minion dies, go back to hitting the boss. Be sure not to stand in front of the boss because it has frontal AoE. And then the minions will keep respawning and you want to keep killing them as soon as you can. It's worth noting that both the boss and the minions have a buff that prevents them from taking more damage when you're farther away. So you should be under 8 meters. You should be really close to them if you want to deal full damage. If it targets you, you don't have to waste an immune. You have Nature's Barrier Glyph for deadened nerves. You can cast that, you should be fine. It's a 1 tick skill. The next boss, you need to kill over and over again. And every time it dies, it splits itself. So it starts off at 1, and it goes to 2, then 4, then 8, and then 16. And each version of it casts a nice fire dot. So when there's a lot of them, they're going to stack and you're going to get really hurt. So it's really nice to have 2 healers here. Cleric Beam and a Mystic Healing. You won't really need to heal as a Mystic until maybe when it splits into 8 and 16. Then it's best to spam Comforting Mist. Since Comforting Mist has somewhat of a cooldown, in between what you want to do is drop Chi, and Gale Force, Thicket, Swirling Mist. And beat Gaia's Blessing when it's on cooldown. This is where AoE DD comes in handy. A lot of squads that don't have Seekers or Wizards or AoE classes, they won't normally pass this level. You can see the damage really start to increase. Or start taking charms. Once the real body appears, it just needs to die one more time, and this is when it's a good idea to start prepping for the next boss. There's 2 ways to go about the next boss. The first way is to assign your ranged DDs, your healers, to the 5 different areas around the circle. So one goes northeast, southwest, and one's back up. And they want to stand inside the poison pools, and it causes the circles to shrink. The poison from them isn't so bad. The only thing you have to watch out for is a cone. You can see down south there's a cone that grows, and when it reaches its max width, it one-shots. So save your immunes if the cone lands on you. As soon as your circle goes away, you just want to go to the next one. And keep an eye out for anyone who dies. The other half of your squad will be on the boss in the middle killing it. Now that's the correct way to do the boss. Some more powerful squads will just straight up nuke the boss before the circles grow large enough to wipe you guys. But you can see if you're too slow and the circles start overlapping, the poison stacks pretty fast. Again, here, it's nice to have Deaded Nerves glyphed. But if you do have a cone that lands on you and we have no immunes left, you can just pop that. Once the boss gets low enough, it's best to call your whole squad back and just finish it off. So you have enough time left over to farm the boss 19 after this. boss 19 is pretty straightforward. You just want to spam interrupts as a mystic. Make sure you have Absorb Soul Glyphed for instant channel, instant cast. You just double tap it. The boss will shout two things. It throws a rectangle out that'll one-shot non-barbs. You can interrupt that. And then it says it's going to cast Oblivion, and you can interrupt that. Otherwise that'll wipe everyone. Other than that, it's normally a good idea if you declare Kadibi. Little dogs around don't do much damage. Can be out-healed. When you kill the boss, it just keeps respawning over and over again. And it gets stronger, it gets more HP. I think after you kill it 3 times, it starts dropping level 4 glyphs, and after you kill it 5 times, it starts dropping orbs, ocean orbs maybe. But again, as a mystic, your job here is to drop chi, heal, and spam interrupts when necessary. And that's about it for this instance. Let's talk about the glyph setup real fast. This is my PWI setup that works in most caves. I have green on heals for chi, green on vital herb for chi, blue on thicket for amp, yellow on nature's barrier for deadened nerves, gray on absorb soul for interrupts, instant channel, and red on nature's vengeance for chi.